Alright, gentlemen, let's get real for a minute. If your mornings are on tea, what they used to be, and I think you know exactly what I mean, then this is something you need to hear. Most of you are already drinking coffee every single morning, right? But what if that same cup could do a whole lot more than just wake you up? What if adding a few simple, natural things could help boost your blood flow, your energy, and yes, those morning situations that used to be a whole lot more reliable? I'm Dr. Mark Turner, and I've spent more than a decade working with men who deal with these exact issues. I've seen thousands of patients walk through my door, frustrated and sometimes even embarrassed. And here's the truth. The answers aren't always in a prescription bottle. In fact, some of the most effective solutions are sitting right there in your kitchen cabinet. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to upgrade your morning coffee so that it doesn't just wake you up, it actually supports your body in ways that matter most as you get older. And before you think this is some kind of alternative health fad, I want you to know everything I'm sharing is backed by research, peer-reviewed studies, clinical results, not internet rumors. But most importantly, these are strategies real men have been using in my practice for years, with real results. Now, don't get me wrong, coffee itself is great. It perks you up, sharpens your focus, gets the blood moving. But here's the downside. Plain coffee gives you that quick spike of energy followed by a crash. Your heart races for a while, and then by 10 a.m., you're reaching for another cup just to keep going. And while caffeine does temporarily boost circulation, it's not doing anything for the deeper issues that start showing up after age 50. By this point, testosterone is dropping, blood vessels aren't as flexible, and that quick caffeine hit is like slapping a band-aid on a broken pipe. What we need is a way to transform that same morning coffee into something that works for you, not just for a couple of hours, but for the long run. Same daily routine, but now your coffee is actively helping your energy, your circulation, even your hormone balance. Think about it this way. You wouldn't pour regular gas into a Ferrari, right? After 50, your body needs premium fuel, not just the basic stuff. And the good news is, upgrading your coffee doesn't mean anything fancy or expensive. Most of what I'm going to share today are ingredients you can grab at any grocery store for just a few bucks. Let's start with one of my favorites, cinnamon. Now, I'm not talking about dumping half a shaker into your cup. Just a quarter teaspoon, maybe half if you like the flavor. But here's something most guys don't know. Not all cinnamon is the same. The kind you usually find at the supermarket is called cassia cinnamon. The better option is called Ceylon cinnamon. Why? Because cassia has higher levels of a compound called coumarin, which in large amounts can be tough on your liver. Ceylon cinnamon has much lower levels, so it's a safer choice if you're using it daily. So why cinnamon? Think of it as nature's blood sugar regulator. Studies have shown it can reduce fasting blood sugar by as much as 29%. That's huge, especially when you realize how tightly blood sugar control is linked to sexual performance. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes throughout the day, it damages those tiny blood vessels that supply blood to you. Guessed it, to your penis. These blood vessels are thinner than a human hair, which means they're the first to suffer when blood sugar is out of control. This process is called glycation. In simple terms, it's like your blood thickening into syrup and scratching up the inside of your arteries. Cinnamon helps counter that by smoothing out those spikes. It contains polyphenols, natural compounds that steady your levels and protect your blood vessels. The result? Better circulation where it really counts. But that's not all. Cinnamon has a warming effect that helps relax blood vessels through something called vasodilation. Ever notice how you feel warm all over after eating something spicy? Cinnamon does something similar, only gentler. That effect comes from a compound called cinnamaldehyde, which also boosts nitric oxide production. And if you don't already know, nitric oxide is the same molecule targeted by medications like Viagra. It's what signals your blood vessels to open up and let more blood flow through. In my practice, I've had men tell me cinnamon was the difference between feeling sluggish by mid-morning and powering through the whole day. One patient, a 58-year-old contractor, told me adding cinnamon to his coffee meant he no longer needed a nap after lunch. Plus, let's be honest, cinnamon just makes your coffee taste better. That warm, slightly sweet flavor. It feels like something you'd get at a cafe, but it's actually working to support your health. Cultures around the world have known this for centuries. If you've ever had traditional Mexican coffee or Turkish coffee, you've tasted that cinnamon coffee combo. They figured it out long before modern research confirmed the benefits. Now let's move on to another powerhouse ingredient, cocoa powder. And I am not talking about the hot chocolate mix you grew up with. That stuff is loaded with sugar. What you want is pure, unsweetened cocoa powder, the kind that's so dark it almost looks black. Just a teaspoon stirred into your coffee is enough. Here's why cocoa matters. It's packed with flavonoids, especially epicatechin and catechin. These compounds are famous for their ability to improve cardiovascular health. But they do something even more important for men. They ramp up nitric oxide production. Remember, nitric oxide is like the master switch for erections. It tells your blood vessels to open wide, allowing blood to flow freely. When you're younger, your body pumps out plenty of nitric oxide, but after 50, production drops by about half. And that drop is one of the main reasons men start noticing changes in performance. Cocoa helps restore that naturally. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Hypertension showed that daily cocoa intake improved blood flow as much as some prescription medications without the side effects. We're talking about a 30% improvement in something called flow-mediated dilation, which is just doctor speak for how well your arteries expand when needed. And it doesn't stop there. Cocoa also has mood-boosting effects. It contains compounds called anandamides, which are the same chemicals your brain produces when you're in love. On top of that, there's phenylethylamine, a natural compound that acts like an antidepressant. Put it together, and cocoa doesn't just help your body, puts your mind in the right state too. And let's be honest, half the battle is mental. Cocoa is also rich in magnesium, one of the most common nutrient deficiencies in men. Magnesium is critical for testosterone production, muscle function, and overall energy. By adding just a teaspoon of cocoa powder, you're supporting hormone health without swallowing another pill. Flavor-wise, cocoa gives your coffee a rich mocha taste without the sugar crash you'd get from a coffeehouse drink. If it tastes too bitter at first, add a little natural sweetener like stevia or monk fruit. Both give you sweetness without spiking your blood sugar. So let's recap. Cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar and improves circulation. Cocoa boosts nitric oxide, lifts your mood, and gives you a magnesium kick. Add those two to your morning coffee, and you're already turning it into a performance drink without spending more than a couple of bucks. But we're not stopping there. Next, I want to introduce you to something that has been used in the mountains of Peru for thousands of years. Locals call it natural Viagra, but it doesn't work the way you might think. I'm talking about maca powder. Let's talk about maca powder. This root has been grown high in the Andes Mountains of Peru for thousands of years, at altitudes where almost no other crop survives. That extreme environment makes the plant incredibly resilient, and it passes that resilience on to you. Maca is sometimes nicknamed natural Viagra, but it doesn't work like a quick pill. Instead, it helps your body restore balance, supporting your hormone system in a way that builds over time. What makes maca unique is that it's an adaptogen. That means it helps your body adapt to stress and maintain equilibrium, whether you're dealing with fatigue, low energy, or hormone shifts. Nutritionally, maca is packed. It has 19 amino acids, vitamin C, vitamin E, calcium, zinc, iron, and magnesium. But what really sets it apart are compounds called macamides and machenes. You won't find these in other foods, and they are believed to be the key players in maca's effect on energy and desire. The research backs this up. In a 2009 study, men who took about 2.4 grams daily, roughly a teaspoon over 12 weeks, reported significant improvements in sexual desire and performance. Another study found maca improved sperm production and motility. But the real advantage, maca works by nudging your own body to make more hormones naturally. It acts on the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, the master regulators of your endocrine system. Instead of forcing an effect, it encourages your system to find its balance. Now, how does it taste? A teaspoon of maca powder in your coffee gives it a nutty, slightly butterscotch flavor. Some men describe it as similar to malted milk. There are even different types of maca with slightly different benefits. Yellow maca, the mildest in flavor, good all around. Red maca, thought to support prostate health. Black maca, often used for energy, stamina, and performance. I usually recommend starting with yellow maca, since it's the easiest to get used to, and don't expect overnight results. Maca isn't a stimulant, it's about building sustainable energy and balance. Most men notice changes in 2 to 3 weeks. steadier energy, improved mood, and yes, more interest and performance. One of my patients, a 54-year-old teacher, told me it felt like someone turned the lights back on in his brain. His focus was sharper, and his energy returned in a way he hadn't felt in years. Now, let's move to something that might surprise you: coconut oil in coffee. At first, I know it sounds strange, but blended the right way, it turns into a creamy latte-like drink that keeps you full and energized all morning. The science here is simple but powerful. Your body makes testosterone from cholesterol and healthy fats. If you've been on a strict low-fat diet for years, you may have actually slowed down your hormone production. Coconut oil provides the right kind of fat, medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. Unlike other fats that take a long, winding route through your digestive system, MCTs go straight to the liver and are converted into energy almost immediately. It's like giving your body high-octane fuel. About 60% of coconut oil is MCTs. The star player here is lauric acid, which not only fuels your cells but also has antimicrobial properties that support your immune system. Even more interesting, research shows MCTs can support healthy testosterone levels. One study found men consuming MCT-rich fats had 20% higher testosterone compared to those eating other types of fats. They also had improved thyroid function, which is crucial for energy and metabolism. What does this mean in real life? When you blend coconut oil into your coffee again, blending is key. Slows the absorption of caffeine. Instead of a big spike and crash, you get a steady release of energy over several hours. Many men notice clearer thinking, less mid-morning hunger, and even better workouts when they start their day this way. If you try this, begin with half a teaspoon. Too much fat all at once can upset your stomach, especially if your gallbladder isn't used to it. Work your way up to a full teaspoon or even a tablespoon if you tolerate it well. And if coconut oil feels too heavy, you can use purified MCT oil, which some people find easier to digest. But whatever you do, don't just stir the oil in. Blend it with a frother blender, or even shake it in a jar. That's how you get that creamy latte texture, instead of an unappetizing oil slick. Now, the last ingredient I want to cover today is one of the most powerful natural circulation boosters: ginger. You might already use it in cooking, but in coffee it adds a spicy warmth that can wake up your entire system. The active compounds in ginger are called gingerols and shogals. These have strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. In plain language, they help open up blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and protect your cells from damage. What's fascinating is how ginger supports testosterone production. Think about what your testicles go through every day. They're exposed to heat from sitting too long, pressure from tight clothing, and stress from toxins, or even just normal metabolism. Testosterone production requires them to stay about 2 to 3 degrees cooler than body temperature. When they overheat or experience oxidative stress, production suffers. Ginger has been shown to protect testicular function by reducing oxidative stress and supporting the hormones that regulate testosterone. A 2012 study found that daily ginger supplementation increased testosterone levels by nearly 18% in just 3 months. Another study reported improved sperm count and motility. Researchers believe ginger works by increasing luteinizing hormone, which signals your testicles to produce more testosterone naturally. Adding ginger to coffee is easy. Start with about 1/4 teaspoon of powder or a thin slice of fresh ginger, the size of a coin. Fresh ginger has more of the aromatic oils that give you an immediate circulation boost. Powder, on the other hand, is more concentrated in the active compounds for long-term benefits. Both work, it just depends on what you prefer. Fair warning though, ginger has a bold flavor. It gives your coffee a spicy kick that some people love and others need time to get used to. If your stomach is sensitive, start small, and 1 note ginger can thin your blood slightly. So if you're already on blood-thinning medication, check with your doctor first. For most men though, ginger is incredibly safe and has been used medicinally for over 5,000 years. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, am I supposed to add all 5 of these things to my coffee every single morning? Cinnamon, cocoa, maca, coconut oil, ginger. This sounds like a lot, and I get that. But here's the cue: don't need to turn your kitchen into a chemistry lab. Start simple. Pick just 1 ingredient and add it consistently for a week. Notice how you feel. Cinnamon is usually the easiest place to begin. Then, once that feels good, maybe add cocoa the next week. You don't have to use all 5 every day. In fact, that might be overkill. The goal is to find what works best for your body and your lifestyle. Here's a trick for the lazy man's version. Mix your cinnamon and cocoa together in a small jar. Keep it right next to your coffee maker. 1 spoonful, stir it in, and you've got a powerful upgrade in less than 10 seconds. Or, if you want something even simpler, start with just maca powder. That one alone can have a noticeable effect over time. On weekends, when you have more time, that's when you can experiment with the full power coffee blend. Brew your coffee. Toss it in a blender with a teaspoon of coconut oil, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of cocoa, and a small slice of fresh ginger. Blend for 30 seconds. What you end up with ice and tea, just a gourmet-style coffee. It's a functional drink, designed to support your blood flow, hormones, and energy all day long. The bottom line is this: don't overwhelm yourself. Adding all 5 ingredients right out of the gate is likely to upset your stomach and turn you off the whole idea. Start small, stay consistent, and give your body time to adapt. How to know it's working? This is why tracking is so important. Here are some things to look for. Energy. Do you feel steady through the morning instead of crashing at 10 a.m.? Mood. Are you less irritable, more focused, maybe even more optimistic? Performance. Are those morning situations becoming more reliable again? Workouts. Do you notice better stamina or faster recovery? Overall clarity. Do you feel sharper, more like yourself? These are the kinds of improvements my patients report most often when they stick with this consistently. The 3 ingredient starter combo. If you're ready to go beyond the basics but don't want to overcomplicate things, I recommend starting with this trio: cinnamon, cocoa, and maca. Why this combo? Cinnamon regulates blood sugar and supports circulation. Cocoa boosts nitric oxide and mood. Maca helps balance hormones and builds energy over time. Together, they hit the 3 areas that matter most for men over 50: blood flow, hormone support, and mental clarity. And the cost? Maybe $15 total for all 3. That is cheaper than a single supplement bottle and probably less than you spend on coffee shop drinks in a week. My weekend power coffee. If you want to treat yourself, here's the recipe I personally use. Brew your coffee as usual. Add it to a blender with 1 teaspoon coconut oil, 1/2 teaspoon Ceylon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon cocoa powder, OAA, small slice of fresh ginger. Blend for 30 seconds. What you get is a creamy, cafe-style drink that not only tastes fantastic, but actively supports your body from the inside out. It's like having a functional medicine latte in your own kitchen. Final thoughts, gentlemen. Decline is not inevitable. Aging doesn't have to mean losing your energy, your confidence, or your performance. Sometimes, all it takes is a few small tweaks to give your body what it's been missing. Your morning coffee can be more than just a wake-up call. It can be a tool to support your blood flow, your hormones, your energy, and your confidence. These ingredients aren't exotic or expensive. They're natural, accessible, and backed by both modern research and thousands of years of traditional use. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, when you make your coffee, add just 1 of these ingredients. Stick with it for a week, track how you feel, then build from there. And do me a favor, drop a comment and let me know what you're already putting in your coffee. Are you using cinnamon, maybe cocoa, or are you going to try maca for the first time? Your experience might help another guy get started. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe for more real talk about men's health here on Health 365 Day. No judgment, no hype, just practical strategies that actually work. And if you've got a buddy who might need this, share it with him. Sometimes the best gift you can give a friend is information that could change his life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Mark Turner, reminding you that small daily changes can lead to big results. Stay strong, stay consistent, and give your body the fuel it deserves. So now you've got the 5 big upgrades for your coffee: cinnamon, cocoa, maca, coconut oil, and ginger. But here's the part most men miss. It's not just about knowing what to do. It's about actually making it part of your daily routine in a way that sticks. And I want to be very clear, this isn't about chasing miracles. If you've got diabetes, heart disease, or other serious medical issues, you need to be working with your doctor directly. These ingredients won't cure anything overnight. What they will do is optimize your body. They give your system the raw materials and support it needs to perform better. Think of them as reinforcements, not replacements. So let's talk about how to put this all together in a 30-day plan you can actually follow. Week 1. Start simple with cinnamon. Pick just one ingredient to begin with. Cinnamon is the perfect starting point because most people enjoy the taste. It mixes easily, and it's one of the most powerful blood sugar regulators you can use. Here's what I want you to do. Every morning add 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to your coffee. That's it. Nothing complicated, just one small change. But here's the key. Track how you feel. Write down your energy levels each day, on a scale of 1 to 10. Pay attention to your mood, focus, and those morning situations. You need a fancy app, just a piece of paper on the fridge, or a quick note in your phone. Why? Because when you look back after a week, you'll start to notice subtle shifts you might otherwise miss. Week 2. Add cocoa powder. If you're feeling good with cinnamon, layer in the second ingredient. Stir in 1 teaspoon of unsweetened cocoa powder along with your cinnamon. This is where you'll start to notice the benefits on circulation and mood. Many men tell me this combo alone, cinnamon plus cocoa, is enough to make their mornings smoother and their afternoons more energized. Remember, no sugary hot chocolate mixes here. Pure cocoa powder is what you want. If the taste feels too strong at first, add a touch of stevia or monk fruit. Keep it natural and blood sugar friendly. Week 3. Try maca 3 times this week. By week 3, you're ready to introduce maca. But instead of taking it every day right away, start with 3 times this week. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Add about 1 teaspoon into your coffee. Why not daily? Because maca works gradually, and I want you to pay attention to how your body responds. Some men notice increased energy within 2 weeks. Others need closer to a month. Either way, track your notes. Pay attention not only to physical energy, but also to mood, motivation, and focus. Week 4. Experiment with coconut oil or ginger. Now that you've got a solid foundation, it's time to experiment with either coconut oil or ginger. Which one should you try first? That depends on your goals. If you want steadier energy, fewer mid-morning crashes, and a smoother caffeine effect, go with coconut oil. Start with 1/2 teaspoon and work your way up. Blend it properly for that creamy texture. If circulation and testosterone are your main focus, try ginger. Add a small slice of fresh ginger, or 1/4 teaspoon of powder. See how that warmth feels in your system. Again, track your results, and don't feel pressured to use all 5 every day. This is about finding your personal mix. Common mistakes to avoid: 1. Doing too much too soon. I can't stress this enough. If you load your coffee with all 5 ingredients on day 1, your stomach is going to let you know. Start with 1, then build up. 2. Using the wrong versions. Cinnamon sugar, not the same thing as Ceylon cinnamon. Sweetened cocoa mix, that's basically candy. Stick to unsweetened cocoa powder. Ginger candy, not even close to the same benefits. Use fresh ginger or pure powder. 3. Expecting overnight miracles. Your body has been working one way for decades. It takes time to adjust. Give each new ingredient at least a couple of weeks before you judge it. 4. Ignoring your diet and lifestyle. Let's be honest, coffee upgrades can help, but they won't undo a diet full of junk food, no exercise, or poor sleep. Think of this as one piece of the bigger puzzle.